Hi, my name is Teresa Kraus. Today is April 26th, 2018, and the code word is kitten. There is an area in the Pacific Ocean known as the Pacific Coast Garbage Patch. It is a very large group of trash located between Hawaii and California. It was created by what's called a gyra, or convergence of currents that blow against each other and trap objects within the currents blowing in opposite directions. And added to it is the Coriolis effect, which objects become agitated by the Earth's rotation and creating a funnel effect. So not only is it very wide, it's also very deep. Now, the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Association predicted that this was going to happen way back in 1988 because they observed that objects become trapped in gyros. However, because of its very remote location and dangerous navigation, no one actually saw this had happened until Captain Charles Moore in 1997 discovered it in a sailing race. Now, Captain Moore studied this trash island, and he learned that 90% of it consisted of plastic, 80% from land sources such as household trash, and 20% from ships at sea. And it consists of things such as plastic bottles, plastic bags, caps, the six-pack rings from your drinks, and a lot of manufacturing raw pellets that get dumped in the ocean, and they call those nurdles. Now, sea life is very dangerous for them because this is not anything that they're used to. They become entangled in it. They get caught in the nets. They choke on it when they try and eat it. They get stuck in the six-pack rings, and they can die or become deformed because of this. And then some of them that do manage to eat the plastic, it can poison them or cause genetic defects. And then also, when we catch this wildlife and eat it, we also ingest the toxicity. Another problem is it can make species go from their regular habitats to a new habitat, as in a barnacle attaching to the bottom of some trash, and it agitates around and ends up in a completely new area that had never been before, which doesn't sound like it'd be too dangerous, but anytime you introduce a new species into a non-native place, it can be very problematic for the native life forms. Now, where is our responsibility in all of this? We have a very large part of it. The American population is only 5% of the world population, but we create 30% of its trash. So a lot of that oceanic garbage is from us. The EPA estimates that Americans generate 4.4 pounds of trash per person per year, about 1,600 pounds. And then not counting the industrial waste that companies bring. And then Columbia University says that's actually antiquated, and we generate up to 7.1 pounds per day per person. That's a lot of trash. Americans are starting to realize that and have put some legislation in place to try and combat this, such as the Act to Prevent Pollution from Ships, the Marine Debris Research Prevention and Reduction Act, the Shore Protection Act, and the Marine Protection Research and Sanctuary Act. All of these aimed at protecting our wildlife, our shores, and the water life from further damage. San Francisco was the first city to ban single-use plastic bags, which are a huge part of this problem, especially being on the ocean. It can blow right out there, and they're just taken away with the tides. And California was the first state to go ahead and ban it. And hopefully more coastal states will join that and just replace them with reusable bags, and that will cut off quite a bit of the trash right at the source. Florida's Seawater Brewery is making edible six-packs. So instead of the hard plastic rings that entrap wildlife, it's actually something that's edible and degradable, so if they do manage to eat it, it will only give them nourishment, and it won't add any poisons into the water. Then we have the Surfrider Foundation, Oceana, which is an organization that campaigns for new policies that help our oceans. The Blue, which is the digital ocean, created to help people see where the problems are and raise awareness. And then 5 gyras, who actively remove trash from the ocean and are trying to make a dent in this. This is a very large task. Then there's Take 3, a group trying to get beachgoers to take 3 pieces of trash with them when they go. So that if everyone does that, then hopefully there'll be no more trash on our beaches. And this is all great. Now we have countrywide organizations trying to do something for this, and there's something that we can do right in our own homes every day. The phrase reduce, reuse, and recycle, there it is right there. We can reduce our waste by not doing things like buying individually packaged snack items. They're very convenient, but they create way more trash than if you were to buy in bulk and repackage them in reusable containers. Buy a stainless steel water bottle. You'll cut back on the water bottles that you use, and you can use it over and over again. If you compost, you're taking trash that you'd be putting into the landfills, such as banana peels, eggs, eggshells, leaves, grass, and together they're going to break down into nourishment for its soil. Reduce anything that you can absolutely can. There's lots of things now that you can recycle and repurpose items. Instead of just throwing them away, find a new use for them. You can refuse straws, refuse those little stoppers, refuse little things like that. All these things that you do one step at a time together can hopefully take away from the larger picture of what's adding into the oceans.